So today we're
Okay.
going to read from Heads Up English, Are You a Shopaholic? All right, so this word shopaholic, what is a shopaholic? What do you think a shopaholic is actually?
You like to buy or purchase something, but you are enjoying buying, but not you don't need anything. You just want to buy.
That's right. So could we say it may be someone like an addict, like an alcoholic,
Okay.
or a
Yeah.
drugaholic? So there we have the word aholic. And
Okay.
then it's just someone who shops um, without a real need, perhaps, for this expenditure. Let's take a look first at the words that are in red and talk about these words for a moment. What
Okay.
are the meanings of these words?
Mm-hmm.
All right, start with the first one.
Revolve. Revolve around. Revolve means around something, and
Well, revolve around something, but you're using the word revolve, and I do
it
believe you understand what it means, but what does revolve actually mean?
um in this sentence, the life of some people revolve around shopping. Means shopping is in their life is full of their life.
Okay. Involved with something full time. So it means to encircle,
In circle.
to come full circle. My life is not complete without shopping. Revolve. It goes around. Revolve means to circle around, like the sun revolves, or the moon revolves around, or the stars revolve around, that kind of revolve.
Okay.
And then impromptu. What is impromptu?
Impromptu purchase. In this sense, impromptu means you didn't think it before. Like instantly, you made up on your mind instantly.
Impromptu is unplanned. Something that is done unplanned is impromptu.
Okay.
Sometimes when you are called on to speak about something and you haven't prepared and you can speak about it without preparation. So that is what impromptu actually is.
Oh, okay.
It's without preparation.
So just like freestyle something.
Yes, freestyle. That's exactly right. Freestyle. And then we have racked up. Racked up.
Rack up. Some of these people have racked up. Like build something. Not build. They have in this sentence means their debt is more and more. So collecting something.
Created a huge amount of something.
Okay.
Or to have a huge amount of something. That is racked up. And predilection. Now, I'd have to think about what that word means. Recently administered test to determine the predilection. Okay, predilection. It's something like the direction, to determine the direction. Which way are you going? Predilection. Predilection.
Also, this word is come from direction.
Yes, it comes from the word direction. But because we don't know, we have pre, which is before. So it's an undetermined direction. I would say that's a pretty good guess to say pre, D-I-L-E-C-T. is an undetermined direction.
Okay.
And prone,
From
the word prone.
Prefer.
Prone, prefer, most likely.
Uh-huh.
It's something that is most likely about to happen, will happen. So this is prone.
Most likely.
It most likely will happen. All right. Now we have all of these words. And after we read this article, we're going to create some type of conversation with the vocabulary words that are there.
Okay.
So would you start to read the article?
Okay. The life of some people revolve around shopping, as they repeatedly make purchases regardless of need or available money. Some of these people make impromptu purchases. Some of these people has closet with unopened purchases. Some of these people have racked up overwhelming amounts of credit card debt. If this sounds like you, then you may be a shopaholic. Recently, okay.
Let's talk about this first paragraph.
Mhm.
The lives of some people revolve around shopping as they repeatedly make purchases regardless of need or available money. So when it says people's lives revolve around it, it's almost like eating. They feel that if they don't shop, they're going to just die. They have to do it. Even if they don't have the money to shop, they will go and shop. Or if the money should be used to make a house payment or pay a car payment or buy gas or food, rather than do those things, they will go shopping. Some of these people make impromptu purchases. Most of the time, we see this around holidays, at Christmas. The Christmas decorations are already out, and people think, oh, this is so pretty. I have to have it. And that is impromptu purchasing. They don't purchase with the thought of what they're going to put up as a display for Christmas. They just see something that they like. And by the time Christmas comes, they see something else that they like. But they've already made a purchase several months ahead. Some of these people have closets with unopened purchases. This is the shopaholic will buy things and never even wear the shoes, never even wear the dress or the suit or the tie, but they keep them in their closets unopened. Some of these people have racked up overwhelming amounts of credit card debt. And racking up debt is a collection. It's adding more and more to something. So it says, if this sounds like you, then you may be a shopaholic. All right.
Okay.
Now let's go on to paragraph 2.
Okay. A recently administered.
That means to provide or give.
Administered test to determine the predilections towards compulsive buying reveals at 9% of people fall into this category. Another recent test revealed a slightly smaller percentage of 6%. This new data concludes an increase in the number of shopaholics from just 15 years ago, as well as determines as well as determines that men remain just as prone to the shopping urge as women. The
Women.
te-
Women.
oh, as women. The test consists of 6 statements with people answered on a 7-point scale, from strong agree to strong disagree.
Strongly.
Oh,
Strongly.
from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Some statements include much of life centers around buying things. I buy things I didn't plan to buy. All of mine consider me a shopaholic.
So here, a recently administered test to determine the predilection towards compulsive buying reveals that 9% of people fall into this category.
Mhm.
So it's saying that whatever test it is that was given, 9% of the people that took the test
Mhm.
that was administered fell into the category of being compulsive buying. Now, this word compulsive is very similar to impromptu. Compulsive and impromptu is basically the same word.
Okay.
But it's unplanned. Impromptu is unplanned, and compulsive is unplanned. Another recent test revealed a slightly smaller percentage of 6%. This new data concludes an increase in the number of shopaholics from just 15 years ago, as well as determines that men remain just as prone to the shopping urge as women. Typically, we might say men are not compulsive shoppers.
Mhm.
In my opinion, it depends on what it is that the men are buying. If it has to do with a car, I think men are very impulsive. They will buy things without any real thought as to what it costs. They want it and they'll buy it. Women may buy furniture, things for the home, or personal items, shoes, hats, dresses, bags, but men are buying things as well. So let us not believe that only women are compulsive buyers.
Mhm.
The test consisted of 6 statements, which people answered on a 7-point scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree. So they are giving us an example of the type of questions that were in the survey. Much of my life centers around buying things. And on a scale of 7 points, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with 7 being the highest? So I'm going to ask you, much of your life centers around buying. I'm going to say for me, at the point in time where I am in life now, I'm probably at a 3%. What about you? What
3%.
percent are you for buying things?
You mean a
Personally.
percent?
Mm-hmm.
You mean percent or
Up to 7%. Much of your life centers around buying things. Do you find that when you go shopping that you typically buy something every time you go out?
uh the percentage means the time I spend or the money I spend.
Well, let's either one, whichever one.
I think the situation of mine is most likely 10%.
No, it only goes up to 7. You can only go up to 7 points.
Ah, okay.
So it's from 1 to 7. So I'm about half.
So I think me too, either.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to
About
make
3 to 4. 3 to 4.
Okay, so you might be 3.5. I'll put you at 3.5. Okay, I buy things I didn't plan to buy. I'm at a 7 there. When I'm buying, I don't have a plan. I'm just buying because I like it. That's
I
just,
think I am like 2 or 3.
Okay.
I
So,
buy things. I always do the research, except I saw something and it has a
okay.
lot of discount.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I have never seen it. Didn't know it even existed. But when I see it, I want it. Others might consider me a shopaholic. I think people would consider me a shopaholic, but I don't. I think people would consider me a shopaholic, but I don't. So I put me at a 7 there. Do people think that you are a shopaholic?
I think there's one. My friend, I have a lot of shopaholic friends. Compared to them,
Okay.
I think like I don't want to spend my money.
Okay. And I still say I think it just depends on the age that one might be. All right,
Mhm.
so this is where we are here. Now I'm going to move the screen up a little bit, but before I do that, let's take a look at these words: revolve, impromptu, racked up,
Mhm.
predilection, prone. And you can talk about this article, or you can talk about your shopping, and
Mhm.
try to use these words. I will do it first, and it will be a
Okay.
little easier for me, but
Mhm.
I'll show you what I want you to do.
Mhm.
I do love to go shopping,
Mhm.
but at the age that I am now, I'm not necessarily prone to buy something, but I do enjoy looking. When I was younger, I racked up on shoes, dresses, scarves, and jewelry. It is what I would call impromptu buying. In
Mhm.
fact, my life revolved around shopping. And I would say that I had a predilection to just being a compulsive buyer. If I went out, I knew I would buy something, but this was really when I was younger. I don't do that now.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Uh,
I'd like to listen to see if you can use these words that
uh,
are in red.
so okay, let me try. Compared to go shopping or window shopping, I prone to go to a gym to make a lot of workout and mm, I didn't do a lot impromptu purchases because I I I was I had read some financial book that tells me the budget the budget making a budget is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So so after I read that, I always buy things it, uh, with a plan if I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't rack up any credit card debt in this moment. So I think that is a good hobby, and I will try to I will try to stay. How to say I will try to make this hobby for long time. Uh, can, instead,
The hobby, what are you trying to make a hobby of?
I try to make a budget and don't
Okay.
spend money.
So, so you want to make budgeting a big part of your life, planning. You want your ability to save money to revolve around budgeting.
Uh-huh.
So if you have your plans to budget, then your spending habit is going to revolve around what you have budgeted for. You're not going to spend money that you have not set aside for this
Mhm.
certain thing. So you will not have a predilection to just buying impulsively.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay.
Okay.
I will.
And you had said that you did something with this book. You read a book. You read a book about budget. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That is how you would say that. You read a book about budgeting. And from reading the book, you realized that perhaps you could save more money, accomplish more
Uh-huh.
without
Oh.
racking up credit card debt. with impromptu spending.
Okay.
All right. All right. So now I'm going to
Move the page.
go down the page and read the remainder of the article. Okay, so we have some more vocabulary words. So you will start here, compulsive buying.
Okay. Compulsive buying obviously lead to financial problems such as an empty bank account and maxed out credit card. Yet, these unneeded and unwanted purchases may be the manifestation may be the manifestations of more serious problems, namely depressions,
Anxiety,
anxiety, and low self-esteem,
self-esteem.
uh, and low self-esteem. What's more, relationship and friendly harmony also deter- de-
Deteriorate.
deteriorate because of disagreement over the purchases. Shopaholic may Shopaholic may then hide their purchase as well as the accompanying accompanying cost
Accompanying costs.
accompanying cost and thus add to strain is a problem that affects people of all income brackets.
Okay, so compulsive buying obviously leads to financial problems such as an empty bank account and maxed out credit cards. Yet these unneeded and unwanted purchases may be the manifestation of more serious problems, namely depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. Well, what I wanted to do was compulsive buying obviously leads to financial problems such as an empty bank account and maxed out credit cards. We have the word maxed out credit cards here, which is the same as
Out of limit.
what was that word that was racked up? We maxed out or we racked up our debt. Okay. So if you rack up your debt, you can max out your credit card because you can't buy anything else. Manifestation, yet these unneeded and unwanted purchases may be the manifestation, and that is display, to show. Manifestation is to make something apparent, visible. And this manifestation is, if I'm always spending money, it is because I'm unhappy about something in my life, or I'm stressed and I'm trying to replace that emotion by shopping. So manifestation is to reveal.
So like evidence.
Evidence, and show. And we have maxed out, which we talked about just a moment ago. Maxed out, it means to be completely exhausted. Completely exhausted or empty or gone. Okay, that's what maxed out. So if you max out your credit cards, you have no more money on there that you can spend. Anxiety is going to be, it's sort of like an illness.
Very nervous.
Very nervous or concerned about something. We have the word deteriorate, which means to destroy, damage, not good. or poor condition. Like someone's health. An elderly person's health is deteriorating. Like my mother's health is deteriorating. It's going down. Going down. Usefulness. Okay. And then we have brackets. Brackets. It's to enclose. To enclose. Or and in this case, the bracket is the amount of income. It's the amount of income.
Level.
Amount of income related to a group, maybe. So we have a bracket, or brackets could be considered groups. That's what this means here. So we have maxed out here. We have manifestation here. Anxiety here. Deteriorate here. And brackets here. All right. So now again, compulsive buying obviously leads to financial problems such as an empty bank account and maxed out credit cards. Yet these unneeded and unwanted purchases may be the manifestation of more serious problems, namely depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. What's more, relationships and family harmony also deteriorate because of disagreements over the purchases. Shopaholics may then hide their purchases as well as the accompanying costs and thus add to the strain. It's a problem that affects people of all income brackets or levels. Okay. Now, if I look at these words, I'll try to give a synopsis of each of these words. This article talks about people who use shopping as a recourse, and it may just be a manifestation of a deeper problem of being unloved, unwelcome, or signs of depression, anxiety, that they may even have to go to the doctor to get some type of medication because their self-esteem may be very low. Sometimes when a person's emotional state or the way that they feel about themselves has deteriorated to a level that they only feel good about themselves when they go out and spend money, or they conduct themselves in a manner that would normally not be appropriate. And this affects all brackets of people, levels of people, races, economic status, gender. It doesn't just affect one person. So anyone can max out a credit card. Okay. All right, let's see how you can do with that.
Let me try. I think after reading this article, all of us need to have we need to know some knowledge, some financial knowledge, because if you are already a shopaholic, you will mix out all of your account or credit card.
Okay.
No matter which income bracket you are, and after you spend all the money, all the money you have, you will be very exhausted, and maybe it will Deteriorate. Det
Deteriorate.
maybe
Deteriorate.
it will deteriorate your friendship or familyship because mm, maybe they will give you some advice to try to not to buy something, and if you still want to buy, then you may have argument with that.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I don't know how to use those two words.
Okay. So when someone is going on a spending spree and just spending, 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 and maxing out their credit card, it could be said that this is a manifestation of some emotional problem that this person perhaps is experiencing. So there's evidence that there is a problem. It could be that they are having anxiety problems and they feel sad, or they have low self-esteem. It could be any number of things going on with this individual, but it is a manifestation. The manifestation is that they go out and start to spend and max out their credit card. And when they do this, this starts to deteriorate relationships. People are unhappy. Husbands and wives get upset with each other because one is spending more money than the other. Okay. Well, this is just one way to look at the vocabulary, try to use the vocabulary, but reading and having a collection of vocabulary words as you read, understanding the vocabulary words as you read them. And the more you read, especially from Heads Up English, you'll start to see these words again and again in other articles also. And I'm going to, what questions do you have about what we've read so far? Any questions? Comments?
I think no.
Okay, I'm going to clear the writing then and go down and take a look at some of the so you see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want you to try to look at these 5 sections, not so much to read them, but you're going to glance over them and you're going to say something like this. It doesn't have to be true or false as it's asking you to make it true or false. I want you to tell me about this article. So I'm going to say, in this article, it tells us that shopaholics are people that are obsessed with shopping. Some people suffer by becoming compulsive with buying. It is stated that both men and women are considered shopaholics. We do believe that shopaholics suffer from anxiety and low self-esteem. Both rich and poor people in all brackets suffer from compulsive buying. So I summarized the article looking at these true-false questions.
Okay.
And I'd like to see if you can do the same. Not reading the statements, but I'm quickly looking at the statement and coming up with the words that I'm going to say.
Okay, I know what you mean, and I'm trying to think how to make it work.
And you don't have to do it in order, but I might not be able to capture everything if you don't, but you don't have to do it in order. But do talk about each one of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I'll try to talk about 5 and 4, maybe.
No, I want you to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want you to use all of them.
Well, also, I need to start it from 1, or I can instantly.
You can skip around. You can skip around, and as I see it, I'll try and check it. But go ahead.
In this article, it doesn't say it talk about people who suffer from compulsive buying, but it doesn't say which kind of people you are. You have high bracket high income bracket or lower income bracket. They didn't say. So I think both of them have served this problem, and it also told us many manifestations that some shopaholic may suffer from anxiety or low self esteem. And in the paragraph 2, according to this article, it says that men and women are equally equally to be men and women are the same not quality.
Shopaholics.
Yeah. I tried to say. Let me Google the. Probability.
Okay. They have the same probability
to be a shopaholic. Yeah, they have the same probability to be a shopaholic.
Okay.
So, so obviously, shopaholics means people obsessed with shopping.
Okay, very good. So you did get to talk about all 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did circle something in all of those. So that was good. And let's see. Listen for speaking. Listen for vocabulary. Let's see what they have here. All right, so here we have all of the words that were in the article. Revolve. Can you pronounce those words for me?
Revolve, associated, manifestation, deteriorate, racked up, prone, and bracket, predilection, unopened, determines, consider, anxiety, disagreements, impromptu, mixed up.
Okay. Are there any words that you don't understand the meaning of here?
I have wrote this word down, and I understand them, but not very familiar.
Which ones do you not understand like that? Which ones do you don't really understand?
Really understand.
Predilection? Okay. Predilection. So let's talk about predilection for a moment.
Okay.
What do you do for work? What do you do for work?
I teach.
Okay. So as a teacher, you went to school to be a teacher. You're good at what you did. And then there are some people that are very good swimmers. They go to swimming meets. They can compete in swimming matches. And then there are those that can play football. Okay. So the school that you work for, or wherever you work, they're looking for individuals that have a predilection to sports.
Oh.
Do you think that they will choose you?
No. No.
Because you have a predilection to education. Yeah. But the person that swims, the person that plays football has a predilection for sports because they're going to go out and practice swimming and practice football. So a predilection is someone that does something that you could say, yeah, that sounds like she has a predilection for studying.
Mhm.
If your school was looking for someone to make speeches, do you
Mhm.
think they would look for the person that swims or play football, or they look for the teacher?
No, they have predilection to find people who can speak fluently
Right.
and
So they would whether the person spoke fluently or not, they would look to you. All right. So now, if you don't use this word predilection, that's okay. I want you to be able to use 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So you should be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You should be able to use 5 of these words,
Mhm.
1/3 of these, 1/5. Well, 5 of, yeah, 1/3. I want you to use 1/3 of these words, which would be 5
Mhm.
or more.
Okay.
You can talk about anything that you wish, and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I will not talk about this article.
Okay.
All right. When I was married, I had a great relationship with my husband. Our marriage revolved around doing things for the family. We did have disagreements, and sometimes my husband would do impromptu things like take the car without letting me know that he was leaving.
Mhm.
When that started to happen, the relationship began to deteriorate, and it caused me a lot of anxiety. And I was prone to get upset without considering that he may be out doing something for the family. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I want you to try to use the words as best as you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, Let me think for a moment. Uh, okay. Okay. Recently, I am teaching the chapter physics chapter gravity. So I teach my student that they know how the Earth revolves around the sun because of gravity. And I found that some students didn't open their book yet, and their book just like a new one, like unopened book. I'm very and so I'm very where is the one? I'm I'm very mad at that and exhausted, thinking about why my student don't want to read, don't want to study, and I consider that maybe he has something more important or something he want to do. So uh, uh, so I will I I think he his predictions is not reading. So I would talk to him, and try to help him to find his own goal of his life. Uh, and during our talking, I can see that he is exhausted and lack of self is uh, uh what's the word? Uh,
Self-esteem, lack of self-esteem.
Lack of self-esteem and uh impromptu. So oh, it's hard. Impromptu. So I try to find which kind of skill he prompt to he prompt to
Okay. So you got
learn.
the impromptu, but not the type of skill that he has that's impromptu. But I try to find I try to encourage him to use his skills impromptu, by impromptu. And that doesn't even sound right. Now you have an idea of a story. It's about a student. So what I understood is that you have a student, and the student's life does not revolve around coming to class. He doesn't even consider opening the books. His books remain unopened during class, and he doesn't have any predilection to becoming a math major.
Okay.
Although I do impromptu teaching, I feel that I'm not getting his attention. So we have a story that we can work with now. Looking at these words that have the arrows, try to tell the story again using these 5 words.
Okay. So consider. I have a revolve. There is a student who didn't like his life revolve around reading, and he always keep his not always, he keeps his books unopened in the class. So I I think predictions his prediction is not anything about reading, and uh I impromptu I talk to him impromptuly. Can I use that impromptuly?
No,
No.
I do have impromptu conversations with him.
Okay, I do have impromptu conversation with him. I try to help him to find his life or of his own. After after he after the conversation, he consider my suggestion and try to find his way and his own goal of his life.
Okay, now let's try to do it one more time. You still have your story. You have your 5 words, and this is what I think I have heard you say. This is what I think I've heard you say as I use the words. Let's see. I have a student whose life does not revolve around books. He doesn't even want to consider bringing books to class. In fact, he leaves his books unopened in class. He does not have a predilection to studying. Although I have impromptu conversations with him, it has not served a real purpose. Okay?
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Oh, it's hard.
Well, it should be getting easier, actually.
Okay. Impromptu. Okay. I have.
Okay, ready?
Okay. I have an impromptu quiz on my class. So I find that I have a student who didn't want to revolve of around study, and I also find that he he didn't consider uh to read seriously on in the school, so his books still unopened, and I try to find his predictions and help him because he just a child.
Okay, so you're getting a better understanding of these words. You're not necessarily using them in the best form, but each time you try, you get a little bit better. So when you do this type of activity, the words are becoming more concrete in your mind, and the manifestation of these words is like, I'm understanding. So the more we practice this type of activity, we find that we can consider using the words in many different ways. And as the words revolve around a particular topic, we have a predilection to being able to choose a subject matter and talk about it. We can have our books unopened and still get a general idea about what we're talking about. So now we're not having an impromptu conversation because we have a topic.
Okay.
All right, so there we are. We're at the top of the hour. I'm going to stop recording for now.